Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Inclusively You podcast, a space dedicated to amplifying the voices and highlighting persons with disabilities, as well as those who provide support to the community. I'm your host, Keon Vaz. So happy to be back with you again for this week. And I would like to wish all our mothers a happy Mother's Day. Yes, we are celebrating Mother's Day today. I hope that you all will feel extra special for today. Please remember to follow us on our Instagram page, Inclusively You Podcast, and remember to like and subscribe on Spotify, Apple iTunes, Amazon Music, YouTube, and yes, Podcast Index. Or drop us a line at inclusivelyu@gmail.com. We would like to definitely hear from you. Our guest today embodies the epitome of dedication and passion in her role as an educator, boasting a remarkable 17-year tenure as a teacher. Her journey in education has been profoundly shaped by her commitment to supporting individuals with special needs, driven by her personal experience as a parent to a child diagnosed with autism. She has a master's degree in special education and has embarked on a quest to acquire the specialized knowledge and skills essential for nurturing her son's growth and development. This journey not only enriched her understanding, but also ignited a fervent desire to extend her expertise to benefit other individuals facing similar challenges. Her academic pursuits further encompass a diverse educational background, including a postgraduate diploma in information technology education and a Bachelor of Science degree in Management Studies, each contributing to her multifaceted approach to teaching and learning. Central to her journey is her unwavering faith in Christ, serving as her guiding light through life's triumphs and tribulations. Grounded in the belief that prayer changes things and empowered by the conviction that I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength, she navigates each day with grace and resilience, embodying the values of compassion, integrity, and perseverance. Inclusively, you listeners, please help me welcome special needs educator and mother, Renee Panton. Hi, Renee.
Hi, Keon.
Thank you so much for joining us for this special episode for the Inclusively You podcast. So happy to have you with us for this Mother's
So,
Day.
thank you for having me. I am delighted to be a part of this for Mother's Day.
Yes. Renee, you mentioned in your bio that, of course, 17 years of teaching experience. Will you share with us your journey to the classroom?
All right, my journey to the classroom started out at grade one.
Mm.
Yes, when I was beaten. In Jamaica, we used to have that little, or I should I say that little big belt strap,
Mm-hmm.
that brown looking leather thing. And I was in grade one, and I was given an assignment, and I went home and I tried and I did my best. And you know that back then some persons will not give you any compliments or any reinforcement to say that, oh, you did it, but try again, it is incorrect. Instead, you are given some slaps. And
Right.
I can recall that day I was wearing a red pullover,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a thick one, and I had on my uniform blouse and my uniform, which was a little dress, like. And the teacher gave me some slaps over my back. And that day I said I will become a teacher to beat
Wow.
back her son. Yes, that was my reason for becoming a teacher. But then when the journey started, I recognized though that by the time I would have reach, graduate, and working, her son would have been at high school in grade 11. and they don't beat at high school. And so I started out doing IT actually, and I failed intro to programming. I got C instead of C plus. And then I
Mm,
just made a switch again and I said, let me do business. Let me do business and then become a business teacher. Still having that in the back of my head that I'm going to get an opportunity to beat back this uh, teacher's son. But
mm-hmm,
then that didn't happen and I graduated and I was without employment for 1 year and then I was called if I have interest in working. I said yes, but that wasn't the job I wanted, not at that place at that point in time because it was with Adventist school, the
mm-hmm,
high school, with one of the high schools, and I've always heard about it. It's like it's a missionary type of thing, and
mm-hmm,
so I did not have any interest, and I said, Lord, I would work at an Adventist school after I'm married. I have car, I have house, I have land, I have everything in life. Basically, I can give back I can give back, but that wasn't the way, that wasn't what the Lord wanted for me. And so I spent 7 years working in an Adventist
mm-hmm.
institution.
Yes.
The journey there was wow, wow. Just Thursday, I was reflecting with a coworker who used to work at a neighboring Adventist school, and we were talking about some of the experiences we had there and how, if we did not know Jesus, we would have met him through
Mm-hmm.
the different struggles that we would have faced there. And so my first set of students, 2006, they still remain my creme de la creme, still
Right.
to this date. They were a set of students who, if you tell them to write, put a dot over an I, they're going to do it without questioning. And if you were to say cross the T, they would do it. And they gave me much encouragement at that point in time. And that were some fifth form students, and one of them actually has become my son's godmother because of
Mm,
the relationship that we would have shared.
right.
And so, yes, she was a teenage mom, and I took her underneath my arms. And there were days when she did not have it, and she would have been absent. And when I found out what was happening, I said, when you don't have it, when the baby don't have this, when the baby doesn't have that, just let me know. And so I was able to help her. And then when I was in need, she was there for me.
Wow. Wow. I absolutely love the fact that you were so open in terms of your motivation for getting into teaching because it's the experiences that we go through. Some of us say, wait till me get big, man. Wait till me get big. And then
Yes,
for others, it's I am going to show you another way because this isn't the way. And
yes,
of course, through maturity and of course much prayers, you realize that okay, this really isn't the motivation I started with is not where I ended up. But also wanted to
no.
ask, what surprised you the most while teaching? I know you spoke about the young lady that made an impact on you when you made an impact on her. But there are a lot of times we go into a certain profession with expectations and it doesn't necessarily turn out that way. So, what surprised you the most?
All right, 7 years that I did in my first 7 years of teaching, they, what would I say? The children, we would say in quotation, them the bad. But
Mm,
my 9 years now into government, nothing at all prepared me for what I am seeing daily.
mm,
It's like every year the students they get in quotation worse. It's
wow.
like their desire to learn is not there.
Mm,
Like there are I'm not sure what to say as it relates to that because I am still trying to come to grips
mm-hmm,
and come to terms as it relates to how is it we can help these students because there are situations now I would say to them that students, everything is on YouTube, everything. all the subject areas you're doing, they're actually on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
But yet still, you say, okay, watch these two videos and you're going to be tested on them. Something as simple as that. And you have persons failing. But
Mm-hmm.
I always say to them, look at it. Nobody says to you or say to you that go and watch those videos of those not so nice songs and you learn the word for word. You just want to hear the rhythm. You don't have to hear the word. You don't have to hear the lyrics. And you
Mm-hmm.
just know it. And so I'm at a place right now, I'm actually questioning myself if my time in the classroom has come or is coming to an end because I don't feel like I'm not sure. I'm not even sure how to say it. I do try to impact and
Mm-hmm.
to do what I do because one of the things that I took over from where I started out is that I pray before I begin my classes because I want my students to know that with God in the lead, they will
Right.
definitely succeed. I give them real life situations of where their life and death lies in the power of the tongue.
Tongue.
And
Mm-hmm.
yes, and if I say to them, "Me not go pass maths," and I said, you don't bother go to the exam because you have failed.
You've already
Why, miss? And I
defeat.
give them, yes, I gave them a story of a young lady that I taught. And I said to her, say I call her Jane. And I said, Jane, when the results came out, I said, apart from maths, what else did you fail? And she said, only maths alone, miss. But oh, you know, so me fail maths. I said to her, because you said it before you went into the exam. You said,
Mm.
miss, me not pass it. It's hard and all of that. And I said to her, you have to, you have to change your word. She didn't listen, but then that happened. So I am trying to educate while I teach a bit in the sense of values and other things in the hidden curriculum, so to speak,
Right.
and to help them to understand that there is more to life than what they're currently seeing out there, the scamming and all of that. There's so much more to life, and education is definitely a way out of poverty.
Mm-hmm. It certainly is. And, you know, I hear what you're saying about, okay, you've given the instructions and you say, watch these two videos, but it's also a change. There is a shift in how parents are now parenting. Sometimes you don't have, both parents are non-existent at this time. Sometimes it's the grandmother from a different age, generation, who's now trying to act in the actual role of a parent. And as much
Yeah,
as you're saying, all right, go man, watch these things, man. But if they're not in a space where love is being shown and care, when you just leave up your children, that kind of attitude, of course, plays out when you meet them again, because there's actually no guidance for them at home, and no love, and no, when somebody just care about your well-being. It's
yes,
like,
yes,
yeah, you go school, you learn that, all right, I teach you for do that. So, but then you can't come and say, Mommy, Daddy, this is what I learned today. What are your thoughts? And I'm definitely hoping that that you will continue, because we still need our educators to really show that extra care for our students. But we're going to switch gears a bit. I mean, you're here
okay,
educating other um people's children, and pouring into them. You're a mom, and when you
yeah,
became a mom, you received some not so encouraging news. I just want for you to take us back to that time for our listeners. What were your initial thoughts? Of course, listeners, I'm sure you heard earlier that was Nathaniel, I'm assuming, in the background.
yes, yes.
What were your initial thoughts when you first heard that Nathaniel was diagnosed with autism?
Right. So I'm going to give you I'm going to take you back to where
Mm-hmm.
it started. and then
Okay.
I give you to March, and I take you to March 19, 2019.
Okay.
All right, so Nathaniel used to call the names of everyone in the house leading up because I live in an extended situation because after I found out I was pregnant, I had to move back home because I my contract had ended. And again, as I'm teaching my students that there's power in the tongue, and
Mm-hmm.
I just go back into 2024. I just said out of the blue, not thinking that if I did not get another job, I'll go home and shake baby. And Keon,
Mm.
that's what I did. That's exactly what happened. And even though I wasn't talking to the devil, he got into my business and he ensured that it happened. I I am not sure if but God allowed it. Let me put it that way, because they said in Romans 8 verse 28, all things work together for good
Well,
to them that
yes.
love the Lord and are called according. So I'm still waiting to see how all of this will play out. So now I came back home living with my family, had Nathaniel March 5, 2015, and he was progressing and he was meeting his milestones as any ordinary neurotypical children, and that is in the normal is in quotations now. And
Mm-hmm.
so I recognized that too, he was regressing. So no names, nothing at all. And he was just, that's a sound, and covering his ears and tippy toe walking on all of this. And I'm like, what is this? What
Mm-hmm.
is this? And so one evening I was commuting from uh, one place to the next, from Ocherius to Port Maria, and I met a lady in a taxi, and we were just having a conversation, and the conversation about children and what is happening. And then I started talking about Nathaniel, and she said to me, okay, I'm going to give you a recommendation to go to see a doctor in St. Anne's Bay, and she will tell you what to do from there on. So I made the appointment, I went, and the long and short of that is that she says, I think your son may be autistic. And
Mm-hmm.
I cried like somebody is beating me mercilessly. The cuts are in my back and it's paining, and they're throwing salt in it. That's why I was crying out, bawling, screaming. The only thing that was left for me to do was to roll on the ground and to kick and to holler and to do all of that. But I, she gave me the information to call into Kingston and uh, to go in to meet with a doctor there.
Right.
That didn't happen the very same month or I think it happened in the same year. But Keon, to do these things, to get the testing and the evaluation done for autism, it is extremely costly,
Mm.
expensive, and I'm a single mother, and
Yeah.
so there's there's no father in my picture as it relates to that time. And so there's nothing, no support, nothing there apart from a $14,000 through the system of the court in this day and age. And
Wow.
should I say that's monthly, right? Because
Mm.
yes, it's monthly. And so when I made the call, one of the tests at that time was for $10,000, and that was just to go and have a 2-hour conversation. Another test was for 25,000, and another was for I think about 20. But when I put everything together, it came up to about near to 80, near to 100,000, because of course I'm talking about traveling into Kingston because I'm from rural Jamaica, St. Mary, and traveling into Kingston, buying gas and doing all of that back and forth, so everything, because it was 3 or 4 separate visits I had to do. So I had to go for the conversation, then I go where he was given some tests to do. Twice I had to do that, and then I had to go back again for the results. So let me go to March 19, 2019. So I asked a co-worker to take me into Kingston, and we were talking and chatting and laughing. But deep down inside of me, I was scared because I don't know what is it. Because there were some things that Nathaniel could not do when he was asked to do them. For example, blow a bubble. A
Mm-hmm.
normal bubble. He wasn't sure how to use a scissors, and those things based on evaluations for and feedback on, or not necessarily feedback, but the look on the faces of the individual, I'm like, yeah, something is wrong.
Right.
And so when I went in, my name was called, and at about 6 o'clock, I went in, and the doctor asked the usual pleasantries, how are you, and whatever. And then she said, all right, let us get to it. And then she started talking, and then she said, your son is severely autistic,
Oh,
and he
wow.
has well delayed development. Now everything in my body felt like it shut down. I think me dead. I think Nathaniel dead. I think everything was over for us. What to do? Here
Mm,
is a new corona in 2019 that has never hit Jamaica before. And that was my situation. And so depression, everything kicked in. I cried. I cried for almost 3 hours. I coming over, my friend was telling me, she was in my coworker and friend, she was saying to me, Panton, it no over, and
yeah.
Panton did. And yes, she was talking, and yes, and I could not see the road, I could not hear anything because the tears crying inside, I'm crying outside. I texted my sister, I said, Teresa, they say Nathaniel um has autism. And then when I came home, I gave her the result, and she went on her knees. I'm not sure why she went on her knees to read it. I'm not sure why, to this date. And I just came in my room, and I just shut down from that day. And for about
Mm.
few months, I was just existing. But if I wasn't going to work, when I bathe, when I brush my teeth, the usual depression thing that kicks in.
Depression
That
kicked in
right.
because you were literally trying to process. And I remember speaking with a mom when she found out that her son had a disability. And she said it was like she started asking first God why and what did she do
Yeah, man.
to,
Yes.
allow her son to have this disability. So a lot of mom guilt started pretty much flooding her thoughts as it relates to, okay, how do I know pick up the pieces, because she's a single mom as well. How do I pick up the pieces in trying to be there, because mothers are mothers, whether your child is has a disability or
Normal.
not. We have to literally be there for our children. How did you get out of that though? How were you able to
All
come
right. So
out of that?
I looked in the mirror one day, and I said, wow, because my mother was complaining. Every day I'm going to work, she's literally complaining because I am I my hair is natural, and I'll just tie it up with a piece of stocking foot or something, and I just take it out when I come in the evening, and I might not brush it nor anything, and I'm so in the morning I just get up and I just tie back the thing around it, and without not even looking that it is not neatly done, nothing at all, because I didn't care. I am in a space where I'm trying to figure out what's next. And so I looked in the mirror one day and I said, wow, what is this? And then I said that I need to snap out of this because Nathaniel needs his mother. And I did not pray for a good while because I said, Lord, I don't know why me? Why? You know that autism is actually, it's an expensive thing, and you know that I am I'm barely surviving basically, and to have this to deal with, why me? And so I I'm not sure how long it took me, but I know about 2 months I was in that stage. And then I started looking now, started watching videos, I started doing this, and then I said, all right, I'm going to take this a step further. I'm going to call around to the different schools in Jamaica to find out what is it they offer that can help me. So I'm going to study now to help me. So I called a particular school, and they said, oh, they have ABA therapy, which is applied behavior analysis. And this type of therapy, which Nathaniel was recommended to do, it is one of the therapies that will help him with his behavior and help him to be a functional person. To date, he hasn't done it as yet, again, because of money. And
Mm.
so I started the course. And how did I get to start the course? Because I called and I applied and I asked for scholarships because I could not do it on my own. And so I did that. And then when 2020, no, I did one semester. And then when 2020 came and I was supposed to start the other semester, I was told that no, they can't offer some things online. But then COVID came and then I had to withdraw. And then I guess everything went online for them. But then again, I started my search again, and then I came up on a Gen Ed certificate course in special ed, and I did it. And then I heard about the masters, sorry, and then I did it, and I graduated, or I didn't graduate, but you understand, graduated, or I left in 20, I ended or finished or got my degree 2022 September. And
Mm,
so I did all of that, and that again was a sponsored degree because I could not afford to do it on
right,
my own.
right.
Because, as I said, the therapies in Jamaica, the therapies, they are extremely expensive. Nathaniel was recommended to do occupational therapy, speech therapy, and ABA therapy. You know, Nathaniel wasn't talking much, and sometimes he give you a one word, juice, and then after a while we had to come up with strategies on our own where I want juice instead of pointing and all of that. And so I got some sponsorship again for him to do speech therapy, and I'm grateful for that because Keon, it is really expensive. Just the other day in Autism Awareness Month, April, I was doing a little bit of research again, and I saw an article where it says it is $260,000 to take care of a child weekly with autism,
Mm-hmm.
$1,040,000 monthly.
Exactly.
So in your introduction, you said I'm a teacher. I don't even say it out loud these last days because I'm not even the salary part of it though is really
Uh-huh.
getting part of it is really
Yes,
getting to me
yes.
because you said I'm pouring into others' children, and then I
Mm-hmm.
have my child. Sometimes I don't even know, even though I am trained for
Mm-hmm.
mothers who are teachers. They know that sometimes it is one of the hardest thing to actually teach their children. Some of them will say, that's not how teacher says. My Nathaniel says, no teacher, no teacher.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
he's telling me that I am not his teacher, in other words. So I am pouring into other person's children, and
Mm-hmm.
while I am struggling to even help mine
Yeah.
because of the things that surround him. I am grateful though he is in a normal school, inclusion somewhat, but I don't know, but he's learning. He's
Mm-hmm.
learning.
Yeah.
He is
And
and
I'm happy that
what
you're also able to really share the harsh realities of what it means to be parenting a child with disabilities, especially when it comes on to the finances. Because we wrapped up just on this platform, I did a series about financial inclusion for persons with disabilities. And speaking again with a mom, she said, when people can think about retirement, she has to think about retirement with her child.
yes.
He can't be left behind. So when you're speaking about the expenses and the fact that this is a lifetime thing, it's not going to go away or disappear, because being a mom is a lifetime job. And I just want for you to share, because we're running out of time. How are you
Okay.
empowering other moms who are parenting children with disabilities? What are your words of encouragement for them?
All right. I recently this year I have written a song. I am human, and so I use that song not only to empower persons who has disabilities, but also try to use it as a means of educating persons that not only these children, adults with disabilities are human, their caregivers and parents are humans too, because so many times we get overlooked, underlooked, like we are not human beings, so to speak, and that is in quotation. Uh, we persons will say the most harsh things about your children, and you're standing there as if they are not seeing you. He's a retard, he's a dunce, he's a that, he's a handicap, and you are standing right there, and you have a child that is walking, you have a child that is running up and down, but yet still person are going to call him handicap and these things. And so persons tend to forget that these persons are human beings just like them. They tend to forget that they need the support, the love, the care, the affection, just like them, the acceptance, just like them. And they are not so kind towards them. And so I try to let parents know that they are their children's biggest supporter, and I cannot end or do a presentation without not including my friend, uh, my guy, so to speak now, or my guy. He has been of help to me. He's not in Jamaica, and he would have helped me tremendously with even letting me know and helping me to understand that it's not the end of the road. Potty training was done with his help in 4 days' time, and it is it's not an easy road.
Mm-hmm.
But as parents, we have to be our children's biggest rather advocate, their biggest
Yes.
supporters, their biggest voice, especially to those who are non-verbal, and to help and to tell persons around them, spread the word, share the word that they need love and they're humans, just
Yeah.
like their children or even like them.
All
Her
right.
has been or one of our best and biggest support. And I have to say that with God, even though I still question why autism at times, and I question God, and I still say to Him, I am waiting for my riches, because autism is actually a rich people sickness, you know. People with, yes, it is, because remember, I can just tell you how much the therapist, I mean,
Yes. Yes,
so
you
it
did.
is. So I am waiting for my riches to come,
Mm-hmm.
right? But her has been of good help, and my family has been of great support to me, especially my
Yes.
mom, my sister Tracy. They have been my strength when I am weak. They were there, and still, even though I am trying to be strong, they are still here and they're supporting me. So support is very good. If you see your child with some signs, do not say that him uncle grandmother never talk until that person was 10. Seek intervention, because early intervention
Is what
can and
makes the
will.
difference. Yes. All right. That's where we have to leave for today's episode of the Inclusively You podcast. Renee, thank you so much for sharing such a heartfelt story with us. You know, being a mom to Nathaniel and just watching, of course, his growth and his development. I hear him there in the background. He's very much present.
Yes.
um, pretty much. But I just want you to also tell us where we can get access to that song.
My
Um,
It's on YouTube. I Am Human by Renee Panton.
okay.
Today I saw it on Spotify.
All right.
One of the singers, brother, her brother has helped me to get it there, but I'm not so. I don't know Spotify like that, so I can't tell you. But I just know that it's there, and it's on TikTok. It's on Instagram. It's on
Mm-hmm.
Facebook.
All
Renee
right.
Panton. I Am Human.
All right. So I'm just going to leave all that information in the description box so our listeners can get the opportunity to hear this song that you were able to pen. Please, please support everyone just to spread the word about autism and just to know that it's a great feeling that a mother can really just enshroud her own children and just pour into her child and her children, although they may have a disability. This is where we leave you for this week's Inclusively You podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. It is Mother's Day, as I mentioned before, and I just want to wish each and every one of you, all the mothers out there, a happy Mother's Day. And I do hope that you're able to feel very special, not just for today, but throughout your lifetime with your children. Thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, I am Keon Vaz.